this ride to the ambulance is it's not really a ride, it's a chase. I'm chasing the ambulance without any effort. It's easy. I don't even know how I did it. I didn't feel like I was running or flying, or I was just chasing the ambulance from out above and looking through the glass. And I could see a paramedic working on me and one working on Chuck. And so Chuck and I were in the same ambulance. Now, they don't do that today. That's very seldom where you see that today. But we were put in the same ambulance, and I remember this thought as we're moving, and then the hospital is coming near. By the way, I had, this is pilot talk, but I had no spatial orientation. I didn't know we were in Burbank. I didn't know that we were leaving and going toward a hospital. None of that even crossed my mind. I was thinking in a different dimension with different thoughts. I was thinking about eternity and only that, and what's going to happen to the two souls that are there, me and Chuck. Where will they go? What will they happen? Because I knew, obviously, there was no survivors. That this crash had not only killed the pilot back there, but these two are obviously dead, even though there was apparently some reason they wanted to get him to the ambulance, to the hospital. The next thing I know, they're putting the body on a gurney, with wheels. And I can remember that gurney right now. I can see the gurney. My body's put on it, and I'm wheeled. And now all of a sudden, my vision changes. I go from looking down and feeling no pain, and really not even I wasn't even that worried. I was curious. I was curious about a lot of things, but I wasn't worried or still fearful. I now remember looking up at the lights going over my head, and all I could think about was the pain. That, I can't even say the words, but the pain was horrendous. It made you not even be able to breathe. It made you ask God if he had any mercy to either let me die or let me pass out or something. And apparently I did both. I found out later. Apparently I did both, because there was a point in time where this man walked in, a very distinguished looking man, walked into the emergency room, calm, in control, no panic in him, and he just walked in, looked down at me, began to look at the monitors. He studied my face. I saw the back of his head as he's doing that. And this man was one of the most famous doctors in America and one of the best orthopedic surgeons in history, as far as I'm concerned. And this was Dr. Homer Graham. I didn't know him, never heard of him at the time, but he would have an impact on my life that was very significant. And I'm just so glad to have had him as my doctor. As it turned out, my survival in my life would have quite a wonderful impact on his life too. And we became friends. We don't have time to talk about that. But I had Dr. Homer Graham. He did say, give me the paddles. And I was, jolted with paddles and brought back to life. But I was above my body most of the time in the emergency room. Yeah, it's weird, but wonderful. It's wonderful that Dr. Homer Graham was the man on duty that day. And it just so happened, a roll of the dice, I guess one would say, that he was on duty so that if there was an accident or something, he would be the one called in. And there was an accident. Dr. Homer Graham was called in. Now, this is the famous Dr. Homer Graham, who is probably best known as Evel Knievel's doctor. Evel Knievel, this daredevil's jumper, motorcycle jumper. And Dr. Graham treated lots of Hollywood people and sports figures. And if you go into his office, you can see all of these wonderful pictures of people that he's worked on. But in the number one position is Evel Knievel. And as it turned out, wherever Evel went to do his daredevil stunt, Evel Knievel's budget included bringing Dr. Graham out at all expenses, whatever, and have him there on site. So Dr. Graham knew Evel Knievel's injuries and his history really, really well. That's another story in and of itself, but I never did meet Evel Knievel. I thought I would, because our paths crossed several times coming to and from Dr. Graham, but we never did meet personally.